In May of 2010, one of my favourite video games of all time released on the Xbox 360. Its name? Well, the one, the only, Shrek Forever After.
Hello there.
No, Alan-Wake. And on the 5th of October 2021, Alan-Wake-Remastered will be released to the world for a whole new generation of gamers. However, there's certainly a few things that might interest you regarding the game and the lore surrounding it. Don't worry, you won't be getting any spoilers in this video, but if you're looking forward to the remaster, here's 10 things to know about Alan-Wake Remastered. Also, just as a side note, I'm kind of ill when I'm recording this video, so my voice may sound a little bit groggy. Just getting that out of the way. Okay, thanks. So just what exactly is the game even about? Alan Wake follows the story of, well, Alan Wake, a best-selling writer who arrives on vacation in the town of Bright Falls with his wife Alice in the hopes of clearing his writer's block. Things of course go awry when he wakes up 1 week later behind the wheel of a crashed car and finds that his wife Alice has gone missing. What's even weirder is that he finds pages of a manuscript he seemingly wrote, where the events on the page come to life before his very eyes. From here, you'll fight supernatural shadowy forces, known as the Taken, as you hunt down those responsible for kidnapping Alice. The game is heavily inspired by the likes of Twin Peaks, The Twilight Zone, and even the works of Stephen King, so if you're even remotely a fan of any of those, this game will certainly be for you.
Only light can drive the darkness away and make him vulnerable again. Here, take the light.
What made the game stand out when it first launched was its unique gameplay when using light. While the game is a third-person shooter at heart, you can't just simply point and shoot at an enemy and expect them to die. Before this, you need to use light to your advantage and burn away the darkness, whether this is with your flashlight, flares, or even other light sources around the environment. The enemies you'll encounter will mostly be the Taken, but you may also encounter inanimate objects and even flying birds that swoop down to attack you. For the most part, you'll be running from location to location on a linear path, but every now and then there will be little pockets you can go and explore for some bonus loot. This game has some resource management aspects to it, though if you feel like you're nearing the end of an episode, use everything to your advantage, because your items do not necessarily carry over to the next episode.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Harry Garrett Show.
The game takes place over 8 total episodes, 6 base game episodes and 2 downloadable content specials. Each episode takes about 1 to 2 hours to complete, with a total game completion time of 8 to 12 hours depending on your game difficulty and how much you explore. So if after one episode you feel like taking a break, please do. The next episode will actually give you a recap of the previous events anyway. The 6 base game episodes do wrap up its story somewhat, and the 2 specials don't do too much in furthering the plot, but I wouldn't necessarily skip them as they do help explore Alan's character. Back in 2010, prior to the release of Alan Wake on the Xbox 360, Microsoft and Remedy released a small mini-series titled Bright Falls, which takes place roughly a week before the beginning of the game. It follows a man named Jake Fisher, a reporter who arrives in Bright Falls to interview Dr. Emil Hartman, who you'll actually encounter later in the game. However, as time goes on, Jake starts to find himself having blackouts and weird visions. The series actually has a few cameos from some of the other characters you'll encounter in the game, including Alan Wake himself. One thing I will say is that as time has gone on, it's become a little difficult to find a high quality upload of this series. However, I have provided a link in the description where you can watch it. There's 6 episodes, each roughly 5 to 8 minutes long. They're not absolutely necessary to the overall Alan Wake story, but it's still a fun little mystery that helps tease the world you're about to play in. So what's actually been changed in the remaster? Well, not too much, just enough to try and get the game up to scratch with the current generation of console hardware. Most of the character models have seemingly received an upgrade, including Alan-Wake himself to make him look a little more like the actor he is modelled after. Some of the in-game assets have also been given a tune-up. Some of the lighting has also been changed, though Remedy have stated that the game does not feature ray tracing. Depending on what console you buy the remaster on will also vary your visual quality. You can reach visuals of up to 4K at 60 FPS on high-end consoles or 4K with an unlocked frame rate on PC. The game also arrives for the first time on PlayStation consoles, after previously being exclusive to Xbox consoles and the PC. One final thing that's been changed is the product placement. Previously, the game featured ads for companies such as Energizer and Verizon, but since these agreements have since ended, they have been removed from the game entirely.
How does it feel to die by the hands of your own creation?
Aside from some visual changes, pretty much everything else remains the same. Remedy have stated that the game will have no new gameplay changes, though I suppose the only real difference is that it will feel a bit more fluid if playing at higher frame rates than if you played on the Xbox 360 version. If you're a lover of achievements and trophies, these will be the exact same as those previously found in the original versions of the game, so if you want, you can look up right now what these achievements will be. If you're a lover of collectibles, then oh boy is this game for you. Collectibles you'll encounter include the following. Manuscript pages. These can generally be spotted due to their white shiny glow. These are pages of the manuscript which Alan seemingly wrote, but cannot remember doing so. Some of these pages may foreshadow events Alan himself will encounter. There's over 100 pages to find throughout the first 6 episodes of the game, however not all of them can be found on the first playthrough, as some are locked behind Nightmare difficulty, which can only be unlocked once you've beaten the game once. Coffee thermos. Are you a lover of coffee? Have you ever gone to a cafe and said to someone,
"You know, this is, excuse me, a damn fine cup of coffee."
Then you're in luck, as there are 100 total thermoses to find across the first 6 episodes. Good luck! Chests. These are chests which are hidden in little nooks of the world, but can generally be found by following the glowing symbols. These chests will contain useful gear to help you fight off the darkness. In total, there are 30 to find across the base 6 episodes. Radio shows. Hosted by Pat Main, these are little snippets of lore that sometimes you can't help but just stop for a moment and listen to. Usually a radio means a bit of a respite, so if you want something to help calm you down after the sheer utter panic, then turn on the radios if you find them. You'll need to turn on 11 different shows across the first 4 episodes in order to obtain the achievement. Can pyramids. 2 sets of these can be found in each of the first 6 episodes. You'll see them stacked up, and to collect them, you'll just need to shoot them down. Though to get the achievement locked behind it, you only need to shoot 5 pyramids. Signs. Sometimes you'll find the odd sign here and there, containing lore of Bright Falls. They're not always obvious, and there's 25 in total to find, so keep an eye out. TVs. Every now and then you'll also encounter televisions. Turning them on will either show you an episode of the in-game TV show Night Springs, or some other bit of lore, usually involving Alan himself. Some of these turn on by themselves, while others have to be activated manually. In total, there are 14 television sets to interact with. DLC/special collectibles. In the 2 special episodes, there's 3 collectibles you need to worry about. In the first special, titled The Signal, you'll find 6 cardboard cutouts of various in-game characters, as well as 10 alarm clocks. You'll usually know you're near a clock as you'll hear ticking. In the writer, you'll need to find 10 game cases for Night Springs, the video game. Curiously, this had the Xbox 360 logo in the original release, so it'll be interesting to see if they change this on the PlayStation versions. I imagine they will. These next 3 items are actually bits of media set after Alan Wake. While I will not be revealing any major spoilers, if you're still concerned about learning too much about what happens after the game, you may want to click off now. However, if you'd like to know how to continue learning more on the lore of Alan Wake, then stick around.
Wait, it's me! Play steward, remember? Quick, get inside! There's no time to lose!
The Alan Wake Files is a book which can give you a more in-depth look at some of the characters within the game. Written by a man named Clay Stewart, who you will meet for a brief moment in episode 1, he comes to Bright Falls to learn all about Alan Wake after having an almost lucid dream about him, and what might have transpired in the town Alan visited. The book contains some of Clay's investigations, including interviews, excerpts from some of Alan's works, and some extra manuscript pages not found in the main game. Originally this was released with the collector's edition of the Xbox 360 version of the game, but you can find a free PDF copy somewhere on the internet. Although we've yet to see an official sequel to Alan Wake, in 2012 Remedy released Alan Wake's American Nightmare, which sees Alan find himself in Arizona, once again fighting against the dark forces of the Taken. While the story doesn't majorly affect the original game, it is still a nice follow-up to those events. The game also includes an arcade horde mode, where you'll need to survive for 10 minutes, racking up as many points as possible. Unfortunately, American Nightmare isn't included in the remaster and can only be bought on the Xbox consoles and PC.
Whatever you do, stay in the light.
This is where things get a little interesting, for you see some of Remedy's previous titles are actually connected. If you've ever played Remedy's latest title, Control, you'll have encountered various hints about the events of Alan Wake. In 2020 though, Remedy released a DLC titled AWE, which vaguely continues the events of both Control and Alan Wake, firmly connecting the two games together. At the same time, there's been some speculation if some of Remedy's other titles are also part of this connected universe. Quantum Break, for example, also contains references to Alan Wake. On top of that, Control has a few small hints referring to Quantum Break, though at this time, that's all they really are, since Microsoft seemingly owns the rights to Quantum Break. Though correct me if I'm wrong. There are also other references to other Remedy games within Alan Wake, such as Max-Payne and Death Rally, but these seem to fall more on the side of Easter eggs than having a shared universe with those games. And there you go. That was 10 things to know about Alan Wake Remastered. As mentioned, if you want to watch the Bright Falls miniseries, there is a link in the description. Hopefully you're as excited as I am to play the remaster, and if you'll be playing it for the first time, I sincerely hope you enjoy the ride. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave me a comment telling me just how excited you are for the game. Thank you very much for watching, and a bye-bye.